Hi everybody.
Welcome to Kids in the Kitchen, number 2, one ton of fun. We're so lucky because we have Chef Jason Chin, who's our on-campus chef, performer, everything extraordinaire. So I hope you're ready for some fun.
Okay, here we go. So we are making wonton and gyoza today. So the type of wonton that we're making is kind of a Cantonese, Hong Kong style. It has shrimp, ground pork and stuff. And the gyoza we're making is a Japanese thing. So let's actually put this on the side because we're gonna do that second. So the first thing we need is our shrimp. Oh, Mr. Ogamori, is there shrimp in the fridge over there? Sorry, I forgot to pull that out.
Need our shrimp.
I also forgot the I forgot the ground pork next door too. Okay, maybe you can get the ground pork for us while we're doing this. Okay, so, oh boy, did not prepare everything. So we've got about, these are a little bit smaller than what I usually use at home. But, so I've got about 8 of them here, but if you've got bigger ones, like 5 or 6 is totally fine. There's no like big rules. So this one's like, to my finger, I want to have like little pieces like that. So I'm going to cut mine into like 5.
5.
Yeah. Or so.
I noticed that you do that boat motion.
Yeah. So if you push down, you're just going to mush it. So if you do this, you know, the blade is sharp, so you're using the sharpness of the blade to do the work. Yeah. So some people go forward, some people go back, you know. For like really tough things, like you see people use a big chopping motion, but we don't need to do that here. Not for this. We're gonna end up kind of mangling our shrimp, which is gonna make them not yummy and not bouncy and crunchy, which is what we really like in Chinese food. So
I have to tell you all that Jason has been cooking up a storm, and I got to sample a few of these delicious wontons, and it's mouth-watering good.
yes, these are super good. So yeah, I learned how to do this from my mom, and she learned how to do it from my grandmother, who's Chinese. My mom is Japanese, but she learned when she got married how to do this. And then I've been watching some really good YouTube videos. Like one of my favorite channels is Made with Lao. And yeah, and so these are an amazing father and son duo. And the dad is a retired Chinese restaurant chef. And he is so amazing about sharing all the things that he knows with everybody. So this is kind of their recipe. And this is never fun.
Okay, so
we have ground pork here.
Ooh,
and
Thai
this is,
supermarket.
yeah, a little bit over a pound. So I'm just gonna take half. I'm gonna not try to get my fingers, keep them clean. So I'll put half inside there, and then we'll just put this on the side for later. And then Mrs. Ushiroto, will you put on a glove right
sure
here?
Can.
We're gonna have you mix. And I will season. So,
I need to.
let's look at our setup. So I have my board here in front of me. Whenever I'm not using my knife, I always turn the sharp side away from me so that in case it should fall, it's not the sharp side is not coming towards me. I always have a bag or a bowl or something for all my rubbish. Some of you might have shrimp that still have the shell on, and sometimes they cut down the middle and they take out the intestinal tract on the inside, and all of that. So you'll want to take that off. You don't want to leave the shell on. And then some people like to clean out the back. So if you took your knife and you just went lightly through about halfway, then you can pull that part out and clean it, and because that part's not yummy to eat.
That part's not yummy. Okay. I'm ready.
All right, here we go. So we're gonna put a little bit of salt.
Salt.
Now, I'm using kosher salt, so it might look like it's kind of a lot, but kosher salt, like you use twice as much by volume, but it's the same weight.
Mix it now.
Yeah, not yet. So this is white pepper. Just put a little sprinkle of that. We need oyster sauce.
He has vegan.
This is a vegan oyster sauce, but I only bought it to kind of test it out. I would normally use a regular one.
Who knew there was a vegan oyster sauce?
I did not know that either, and it's actually pretty yummy.
It's
so
yummy.
if you want to do a vegetarian thing, you totally can. This one gets a little bit of cornstarch.
Look, no measuring. Told you
No
he's a chef.
measuring, but this is about a tablespoon or so. It's just to kind of keep everything together.
Mix.
And the last thing is a little bit of sesame oil. Sesame oil is pretty strong, so you don't want to put too
My
much.
favorite.
And we're gonna mix in the same direction about 30 times.
Same direction.
You just kind of
30.
the claw and then keep going. And what we're looking for is we're changing the way that the proteins come together, and it's gonna look kind of streaky and stringy.
It's looking streaky and stringy.
Almost there, not quite.
Because I'm only on 20.
So we're gonna do this with the gyoza too, and
Okay, 30.
I think going in the same direction helps to make those strands, and this is what helps to make it bouncy and
It's bouncy.
whatnot. Oh, sorry, we need to do one more thing. We need to put a little bit of water in there. So if you can give me like 5 more turns.
One.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then we should be good. So I don't know if you guys can see, but yeah, it kind of look a little bit more like a paste and not all ground up. So now we're gonna put our shrimp in.
And the shrimps are big.
Yeah, these are kind of big chunks.
How many times?
Just until we're gonna mix that, just until it's kind of evenly mixed in. So like when we start scooping it, every piece is gonna have a little bit of shrimp, a little bit of pork in it.
I love that you plan for
Yeah.
that, because when I cook, I just slap it together with not a thought in mind.
Yeah, if you're eating shrimp wonton, you should have a shrimp in it.
Okay, but look,
Yeah.
it's not a shrimp in every.
So yeah, we'll get it as close as we can, because even when I scoop, I always scoop to make sure that
Everybody
gets a shrimp
Okay.
too. One of my friends, she puts the shrimp in separately to make sure, but
I hope we're not
think
going
that's
too
one more.
fast for you people
Yeah.
at home,
that's
because
yeah.
I'd be like, oh, wait, stop it. Should we talk a tad?
Yeah, so you can let this sit for a little while. Like sometimes I'll do this like an hour or two in advance and then fold them at the last minute. I'll prep something else for a party. One of the awesome things about what we're doing today is that you can freeze these.
This?
Yeah, you can freeze the mixture, or you can freeze the already made wonton and
I
eat
knew
it like weeks later.
I knew you could freeze the already made wonton, but I didn't know you could freeze the.
You can freeze the filling too.
Oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't wait too long, but if you wanted to, if you had a party and there were a lot of other things that you wanted to cook that same day, this could save you some time
But look how fast
by
it
doing
was.
that. Yep. Let's talk about our different wrappers. So I bought these from our neighborhood noodle factory, the Young Noodle Factory. So there's 3 different kinds here. And when you look at the packet, they look kind of the same. And this one's a little bit taller because these are thicker. And these are made for soup. So when we're gonna make these wonton for soup, this one is made for wonton for frying. So when you go into the store, into the factory, you have to tell them what you're gonna do. When you go to the regular grocery store, they're not gonna tell you, but usually we use the thicker ones for soup and the thinner ones are for frying. And then they make a round one, and this is for our gyoza, also for mandu. I think the real Korean mandu, I think the wrapper is a little bit thicker and a little bit softer. But these are pretty good, and I like it. And there's we're so lucky in Hawaii to have all these noodle factories that make fresh ones, and we don't have to buy the
All
frozen
our
stuff, and they're
melting
delicious
pot of flavors.
and locally owned. Yeah.
So, Mr. Chin, I'm thinking that you and I, with our ADHD, are going like, do. So we have to go just a little
slower? Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we slow down a little bit?
Yeah, you should
So-
show them what each one looks like, because you said one is thinner than the other, but it looks the same to me.
They do look kind of the same. So let's go back over those other tips again. So the first thing we did was we got our ground pork, we put it in the bowl, and it's kind of looks like brains a little bit. So we're gonna break that up. Our seasoning was salt, so a little pinch of salt. We had white pepper powder. You can use black pepper, but this is a kind of, white pepper is like, it's more floral and fruity tasting, and it's really important in Cantonese cooking.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's not expensive. You can get it already in the powder form. You don't have to grind it.
I have to go find out if I have that at home.
Yeah, I think it's good to have around. We have oyster sauce, and just a little bit of that. Some cornstarch. The cornstarch helps to bind everything together.
Sesame oil.
And then our sesame oil, which makes it kind of fragrant. But be careful with sesame oil because you can put too much and it can really take over everything.
A little water.
And then there was a little bit of water. So this is the water thing. I know that when people are making sausages, like German sausages and stuff like that, they'll often put water in. And you would think that the thing would come super watery, but the meat just really sucks up all the water. So
because it's not, it doesn't look like it's wet.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna do.
And you do 30 turns.
You get those fingers in there and just really aggressively turn about 30 times. And 30 times might not be enough, but I think it's a good place to start.
You'll notice that it looks different.
So we're gonna do a fun step, but we have to be kind of careful because this one can get messy if we're not careful. So you're gonna scoop everything up and we're gonna do what the Chinese call da. You're gonna make this sound of, you're gonna throw it back into the bowl about 5 times. You're gonna kind of slam it down, and it supposedly makes this more bouncy.
Okay, got it.
You ready?
Yep, ready.
Okay.
Ready.
There you go, just like that. So you don't have to go from really high, you just got a good firm
throw. It's not gonna make the same sound. 3. You should count in Chinese. 4.
5.
Okay.
I'm not that Chinese.
Okay, me too.
I'm gonna butcher it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right, we are ready to fill. So before we start filling, I have my station ready with my filling.
Okay.
Okay. We have a sheet tray. So since Mrs. Ushiroda has the raw meat on her hands, I'm not gonna ask her to touch the other things and get the raw meat all over it. So we are gonna put some wax paper on our sheet pan, and this is gonna keep stuff from sticking to the pan. I have a bowl with some water here. So if you don't have one, go get a bowl with a little bit of water. We're just gonna use this to wet our wrapper. So I'm gonna wet the edge. When the water and the starch that's on here kind of come together, it works like a glue. Before we had like Elmer's glue, I remember my grandma telling me that they used to take cooked rice and they used to mush it together, and that was their glue. So those starches work. So we're gonna use that to kind of seal everything. Do you know what happens when the dumplings don't seal good?
Yes, I do. All the filling starts to poof out when you cook it, right?
Yeah. So it's gonna ooze out and it's gonna splatter, and it gets really dangerous. So we wanna make sure they seal really good. So I have these 2 things, and then we're gonna use butter knives to put the filling in. You can use a small teaspoon if you want. This is just what I grew up doing, and when I'm doing it, I always have the serrated edge away from me. I'm not gonna like try to cut into my hand, but I know it's not super sharp or it's really dangerous. They make special bamboo ones that they use in China. I tried using those, but I grew up using this, so this is just, I'm just comfortable with that, and it feels better for me. All right, so here we go. So there's like a whole bunch of different ways that you can wrap this. So we're gonna start with like the super easiest way.
Super easy, we like that.
Okay, so I'm gonna scoop.
Make sure you get a shrimp.
I got a shrimp in here. I would say this is enough to fill a teaspoon.
Well, there's 3 shrimps in there.
Oh yeah, there's 3 bits in there.
We have a lot of shrimp.
We have a lot of shrimp. It's fine. So you can see that it's filling up maybe about 1/3 of it. Yeah.
It looks perfect.
I'm gonna take my finger and run along one edge and then the next edge. So this side and this side to make like the letter L. And then I'm gonna fold this over and squeeze it.
You don't do the whole thing wet.
I don't do the whole thing wet because I don't think
I think if you make it too wet, it doesn't stick, right? That's why mine doesn't stick.
And so now when I'm squeezing, I'm trying to get all the air out too. So you shouldn't have air pockets, because when those air pockets are there, and if you're deep frying it especially,
Yes.
it's gonna puff up and could explode on you. So
Been there, done that.
yes, we've made that mistake. So I'm giving it a pretty good squeeze all the way around, and I'm gonna check to be sure that it's sealed. And then I'm gonna take my finger and wet it one more time. So
On the corner?
on the corner here, because we're gonna fold the two arms together. We're gonna do this more than once. I'll show you folks one more time. So we're gonna fold these together like they're the hands coming
like
together.
hugging. They're
Yeah,
hugging.
like we're coming together like this. And then I'm gonna gently squeeze these together. Sometimes when I do that process, it kind of puts a little pressure here, so sometimes they'll open here.
it's so
So
pretty.
I always double check my seals before I put it down. And we're done.
Yay.
So that's the easiest
Yay.
easiest shape. You see that same shape in Italian cooking. So I don't know who came up with it first, or maybe they both
Which cooking?
Italian cooking when they're making their stuffed pastas. Tortellini, I believe. So, yeah, I don't know if maybe they came up with the same idea at the same time in two different parts of the world, or I know the Italians did go to China to learn things and
Ooh, that's a good one. Look at all
Yeah.
that shrimp.
all that shrimp. And I'm gonna try to keep all that meat away from.
Oh, and you know what? The knife is good
The
because if
edge.
you use the spoon, it's more messy.
I think so. I think it's easier to get it
Yeah.
off the knife. So again, we'll wet.
Make an L.
We'll make an L, and then fold over. I try to do the center first, so that the tip matches, and then I just start sealing these up. And then over here there was a little air pocket, so I'm kind of squeezing it out. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here.
Is the powder only on the outside of or is it on both?
It's kind of on both sides, and sometimes there's one side with more than the other.
And don't matter.
I don't think it matters that much, but some people say to put the more powdery stuff on the inside. So
Why?
I'm not sure really why, but I cook them well enough that I'm not worried that I'm going to get sick from eating uncooked starch. It's usually cornstarch on the outside. So I put my water again on the tip, fold these over, and do it like that. Yeah. Squeeze them together, and then if you line them up really nicely, you can fit a lot on the pan. So
Do they get stuck?
when they don't really get stuck. If you're in a super dry climate, which we're not in Hawaii, it's kind of humid here. Some people will cover it with a towel so that it doesn't dry out. If I'm gonna freeze them, then I might lay them out so that they're not touching, so
I
that they
got
don't
these
stick
gloves
together.
on, so am I
Oh.
not gonna make?
I think you should.
Okay,
We
me
can
too.
get you another pair of gloves. So why don't you take those off? Here's trash right here.
Okay, yay.
Okay, Mrs. Ushiroda, you.
I'm gonna
Why
do
don't
it.
you do one?
Okay, watch. Novice. I'm gonna get my shrimp here. 2 in mine. That's enough, yeah?
Yep. Oh, the pork is, yeah, it's really streaky and pasty. It's good
It
work
was-
with that. Good
it
work with the
was-
mixing. Isn't that fun to like
Yep.
to
Okay,
mix
watch
stuff?
me. Okay, corner to
okay,
corner.
corner to corner?
And pinch, 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 pinch. Pinch, pinch. This should be like a family thing to
Oh,
do.
totally. Yeah.
Right? Sit around
think
and talk story.
In a lot
and
of Asian
see
cultures.
who can make the best dumpling. Oh, I didn't win.
That looks pretty good.
Well,
Everything all sealed good. No air bubbles.
No air bubbles. But look, somehow yours looks like
I
it
think I
has.
maybe put a little bit more.
Okay, I'm doing another one. It's kind of fun. Hope you guys are doing it at home. Did anybody say
Excuse me?
yes?
Oh. So, Ms. Fujimoto, can we go to you? Do we have any questions so far?
Not currently. We don't have
I
any
think
questions.
everybody's busy.
So if you've got questions at any time, please put them in the chat. I know it's kind of a lot to ask a question and try to type something, and you've got dirty hands and whatnot. So maybe
Ask a
mom and
sibling.
dad or a sibling can help you. But please ask your questions, any questions you might have.
Oh, look, if you put too much, it looks misshapen.
Yeah, and it's gonna want to ooze out. So
Okay, so
it's better
don't
to
be
have
greedy.
not too much.
Just right.
Yeah, it takes a few times to get the hang of doing this.
If I did one too small
And-
and one too big.
Those people in the restaurants that do this, like, they would have been done with the whole tray in this whole time that we're
I know.
talking. They are so fast.
Like, you know, on Nu'uanu when they do the mandu, I love to watch the ladies doing that. Have you seen?
I have, yeah. We used to go to this restaurant, and there's this lady with a big round plate with a mountain of meat, and she's just making, and she's cranking them out so fast, and so that's like life goals, right there. Okay, I'm gonna reach
Okay,
over.
then I think
Put that there.
we need to practice.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna switch shapes. We're gonna start the same way with the triangle,
Okay.
but we're gonna, when we bring the two corners together, it's gonna be a little bit different. So I'm told that this is supposed to be in the shape of kind of, they're not, in the US we have gold bars, and when people melt down gold for that, but in China there's kind of this boat shaped thing.
Oh, I've
yeah,
seen that.
so I think this is supposed to look like that, at least I'm told. I might be wrong.
Okay,
So we seal our triangle, and so I'll try to explain with my hands. Instead of going over like this, we're gonna go together like this. And I'll show you why we do that. So when it comes together, instead of going over this way, I'm gonna come together like that. And you can see it kind of has that boat shape.
Oh yeah,
You can
look.
see from the top,
Okay.
and has this
Okay, wait, I wasn't really,
little
okay,
dimple
wait.
there.
Miss Fujimoto is distracting me. Okay, wait.
And for those of you that are like, if we're going too fast for you, or you just want to watch
Then keep
for
up.
today,
Just kidding.
you will be able to see the video tomorrow. It just automatically archives to YouTube, and so you can watch the whole video at your own pace. You can pause and go as fast or as slow as you want to. Some of the steps we're going to do today definitely need mom and dad to help, and
Or a lot of practice.
Yeah, and a little bit of practice. I don't know why I put more water in there. It's late in the day, and it's a Friday,
And it's hot.
it is hot in here. We had to turn the AC
I'm
off.
sweating.
If we had the AC on, it would have been super loud in here. So,
Okay.
all right. So you ready?
Yeah.
So we're gonna come together like
Come
this.
together.
Yeah, over. Yeah, right over like that.
Oh,
And
somehow.
in the end, they all taste the same.
You know what? And when you cook it,
Uh-oh, that one came apart.
how come yours?
No, that's correct. I think you just gotta just put a little more water, and then just kind of hold it together. I don't think you have to press hard. I think you just have to kind of hold it together.
Okay.
Kind of let the starch do
I
its
like when
gluey
yours
thing.
has a little crease there.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna go to advanced wonton now.
Okay, advance one time.
So this is the made with Lao technique that I learned. So you're gonna make your hand like this, okay? Make a
Oh, we
circle.
did this at
Yeah,
your
we did
house.
this before. So we're gonna put this over the top,
Yep.
and this is a little bit tricky. So you don't wanna put as much filling for this one. So I'm putting about that much, and then I'm gonna push down into that circle, and then I'm gonna use my fingers to squeeze. It's both squeezing and cleaning off the knife,
At the
and
same
also
time.
squeezing this shut. So I didn't add any water to it.
And it'll stay
It'll
shut.
still stay shut.
So we
yeah.
don't need the water.
You kind of don't. I think for those folds it really helps. For
Okay.
whatever reason, this way it works good. Yeah.
Like
So you
that?
just kind of push down and
Push down.
push down and then squeeze it shut.
Squeeze shut.
And then just give it a good squeeze. You can squeeze too hard and it'll burst out from the end, but that's it. So it doesn't look like super even and whatnot, but for when you're gonna eat it in soup, like
So
that,
Mr. Chin made this squeezy one, and he did it with those sun noodles.
yeah,
Yeah, and it
we
was
used the sun
so-
noodle one, yeah.
It was like the best ramen wonton min ever.
Uh-oh, I didn't do the circle. Okay, so gotta do that. Yep.
I think.
Push
if you don't put
down.
it in the right place.
Yep, if it's not dead center,
Look, if you don't put it in the right place, it's gonna be funky. Here.
and I think if you put too much, it's gonna wanna all ooze out.
I wanna cinch it. Let's try.
Yep,
make it like
you
that.
can definitely cinch it.
Okay.
Okay.
Hope you're having
Alright.
fun, because I'm having fun.
I should have brought another knife. Oh well.
Hog cheese.
We have the other knife is in the cream cheese thingy. So we are gonna make some other kinds of wonton in a little bit. And so this is not the end of the wonton journey. And we will definitely show you how to cook all of these. So as I was saying before, you can freeze these, and one of the nice things about it is you don't have to defrost them before cooking them. In fact, I prefer to cook it from frozen. You just have to, it takes a little bit longer because it's so cold, you want everything to come to an even temperature inside and outside. So if we cook it at too high of a temperature, the outside's gonna fall apart by the time the inside is cooked. So I'm gonna show you a little trick about how we do that.
I'm just going to make a few more because it's therapeutic.
And I am gonna switch my gas canister. I'm gonna bring my stove out in a little while.
Some of these shrimps are pretty darn big.
They are, for not being very big to start
Really?
with. Yeah. Okay. I think we're ready to go on to gyoza.
Okay, we're on to
that cool?
gyoza.
Okay, so we're gonna just put this on the side for now. And I think we can use the same tray.
Okay.
Will you get the gyoza stuff from that
I
tray
sure
down
will.
there?
Ooh.
Got all kinds of stuff
Oh.
tucked away.
Voila.
So cabbage. We will put this on the side. That's for later. That's for later. That's for later. So this one, I don't have to do any cutting. Oh, no, sorry. This is the one I have to do all the cutting, sorry. And then we got a panko, so we'll just put this here for now. Will you put that back?
Mr. Chin,
there.
you need
Okay.
to, after, tell everybody about what we learned about traditional gyoza.
Oh, yes. So I apparently gave you folks bum information.
No, you gave local information.
I gave, yeah, I guess it's an adaptation of a traditional recipe. But in a lot of meatballs, a lot of fillings, you see people putting some kind of breadcrumb, often eggs, sometimes milk. You know, so in meatloafs and the Japanese hamburger steak, these things go in. But apparently, it doesn't go in gyoza. But the important part for I put it in there because it makes for a juicier texture. I think it brings a little bit of fat and stuff, but I was told by somebody from Japan who does this all the time that the key is the mixing. So the mixing is what
it's
so that
the
mixing
mixing.
step that makes it really happen. So we have cabbage that I've already cooked. It's chopped and cooked already, but I'm going to show you all the steps first.
Wait, we're going to have
So-
to find another glove.
Yes. Oh, do we have?
Do we have more gloves?
Oh, it's down in that box there.
Okay, got
Okay.
it.
So while Mrs. Ushiroda is getting that, we're gonna take our cabbage. So we only need, this is a half cabbage. You see, I already took off half. We only need 1/4, so that would be half of this cabbage. Usually when I buy from the store, you know, we don't know what everybody else has touched or it's been in the boxes and stuff like that. So I always take off the outer leaves. And that's where my rubbish bag here is gonna come in handy. So I'm just gonna find an end. Peel this one off. I see some black spots here that I don't like, so we're gonna take that off.
Like peeling an onion.
There we go. So flat side down, so it's not rolling away from us like this. It can be super dangerous. So flat side down. I'm gonna take my knife. So like we did the last time around, we have the claw method. So as long as you remember to keep your fingers down this way and not here, we shouldn't be cutting anything off. So I'm gonna keep my fingers well out of the way. This is to stabilize it, and then we're gonna cut. Yeah. So again, like Mrs. Ushiroda noticed that I was doing like a sawing motion, and that's what we wanna do. You wanna go in kind of one move if you can.
So I mentioned that because I cut this cabbage, and I had a hard time with the knife, but when he was cutting the shrimp and he did that, it was so much easier, right?
Yeah, it does make it, because
That
you know,
because the
you're
knife is
using
sharp.
the sharpness of the blade rather than force. If I had done that with the shrimp, it would have mushed them, and this way it would bruise our vegetable, you know, and would be not nice. So I'm just gonna go through. If I gotta go a second time through, then I'll go a second time through. This guy's kind of, the middle of this is kind of hard. This is definitely not one you wanna do by yourself. Ask mom or dad for help, okay? So our cabbage has this center part we call it core, and it's really kind of hard and thick and not yummy to eat in something like this. So sometimes these middle parts, they're okay, I'll save them to make soups and stuff like that, and I can chop it up or make like a vegetable stock. So I'm coming in at an angle like this, and I'll show you why. So remember, the cabbage was round all the way through, and this core is kind of a cone shape. So I'm trying to make this part come off as if it were the cone. Yeah, and notice again, I had the flat side down. I wasn't trying to cut it like this and having everything rock around. Yeah, safety with the knives is super important. Yep, with the claw. So now my goal is to cut this about 1 inch thick. Okay, so if you don't have a ruler with you in the kitchen, that's totally fine. I think 1 inch is about half of my pinky. Yeah, so I kind of use that as a point of reference. But if you are super good at estimating, then good for you.
I say it doesn't matter. Just cut it.
The main thing is you don't want really big pieces, because as we're eating the dumpling, we don't want this whole string of cabbage coming out of our mouth. And then this part, you see it is really long here, so I'm going to turn it on its side and then cut. And then from here, let's get these guys out of the way. I'm going to make cuts going this way, and I want it to be kind of thin. Again, I don't want big chunks. It's going to make it really hard to stuff the gyoza if they're really big too. So here we go. So little slices.
Oh, Mr. Chin's one is perfect.
And as we get to the end, that's where things get a little unstable. So I kind of like hold it down a little bit better. And if I'm really worried that I'm going to cut myself, then I don't do it. Yeah, and what I've got at the end is a super thick part. I don't want to eat that in my gyoza, so we're gonna put these guys in the thank you for coming bowl, and then this would go in all of our cooked cabbage. We have that glass bowl there, yeah, or we were gonna microwave it, so I just put it in a glass bowl and microwave them with a little bit of water. So we'll show you that in a minute. We don't have another one, but. So still cutting, and again, we got to the end, right? So another option is when we get these big pieces, instead of trying to cut this way, I'm gonna turn it so I have a flat piece down, and then I'm gonna cut all the way up, and then the claw.
I found some big pieces in my chopping.
Oh, it's okay. It's totally fine, because when it goes inside and we cook it, they're gonna come soft and shrink a little bit. Okay, and here's our last ones. So I've got 2 chunks here, but it's okay, we can line them up, and we can cut 2 at the same time. Did you make dumplings at home as a kid?
No.
You didn't?
Nope.
I know for a lot of Asian families, this is like a family tradition to sit around the table and
I made dumplings at your house.
That was fun. We made a whole party out of that. All right. So this would normally go into a bowl that I can put into the microwave, and I would put a little bit of water, not all the way up, but a little bit of water, and microwave it for about 3 minutes. It might, if your microwave isn't that strong, you can go a little bit longer. That's what I did here. So I microwaved it, I drained it. So go get yourself a colander, or a strainer. And then this one is kind of cool. It has a place to catch all the water. So go ahead and do that. We're going to talk about something else. I'm going to wipe my hands here. You got a towel over there on the left side.
I do.
So let's talk traditions a little bit more, because we have dumplings from all around the world, right? So while you folks got that in the microwave, well, you can kind of listen as we're as you're microwaving, and we're gonna.
So when Mr. Chin had the idea of doing one ton of fun, Mrs. Kumashiro bought this book, Dumpling Day, and it's a good book. But if you are like me, you have to look what's at the end. And at the end, Mr. Chin, there's a map of the world, and it's talking about all the different places and all the different dumplings. So here you go.
We have from India, from the United States. So we have samosas from India, super crispy and crunchy, and there's usually potatoes on the inside, and it's got a curry flavor, so yummy. Apple dumplings It looks like a pie crust on the outside, I think. Yeah. What else do we have? Wugok from China. It's a taro puff. Fufu from Africa, from Nigeria.
I wish you can see this. It looks so delicious.
Yeah. I think
Looks like stew.
making the fufu is so much work. I think they have to pound
Fufus
the
are
dough.
yams. Yeah.
It's made from yams, yeah. Gyoza, which we're making today from Japan. I don't want to butcher this, but we have an Israeli one. It looks like it's a pie dough too, but maybe baked.
It looks
Yeah.
like it's barikas, like eurekas.
Tamales from Mexico. It's made from corn, ground up corn, and then they wrap it in corn husks and steam them. Is that shish barak from Syria?
And yogurt sauce.
I've never had that before, but
should
yogurt
try
sauce sounds delicious. We should try that one day.
It's
Okay.
a frying and garnish.
We got a really good tamale shop down the street from us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Pelmeni from Russia. Oh, there's
That looks like
pierogi from
tortellini.
Russia. Yeah, they kind of look like tortellini. I think they use a round wrapper like that, and they do that same wrap. Yeah. Ravioli. So those are, it's 2 layers over, and then they use a cutter to cut it out, and it's usually filled with some kind of cheese and maybe eggs too on the inside.
And frozen spinach, it says.
Oh, frozen spinach.
So
Yeah.
there's
so that-
many to try.
But it talks about traditions in all the different countries. Some of these dumplings are for special occasions. Like I know my brother-in-law's family, they make tamales every year for Christmas.
Oh.
So the whole family comes together, and just before Christmas, they make a whole ton of them because it takes a really long time to steam them, and
I think
you
I'm
need
going to
a
do
lot
that
of help.
this year.
Yeah, this is a really good thing for parties because I think you can make a whole bunch, freeze it ahead of time, and then on the day of you just cook it, and then you can bring it. And who doesn't love eating
Fresh,
yummy dumplings, hot
yeah.
dumplings? Yeah, that you did all the work ahead of time. Yeah. All right. So I think we're about 3 minutes in. Our next step, and now it might be super hot, so be really careful about this. But as long as you strain it, it's okay. But I like to get as much moisture out as I can because we're going to be adding
hold it, you can
egg.
squeeze.
So I'm going to squeeze and get a little bit out. You can put the cabbage in raw too. I think it lets out a little bit of water, and I think because we're breaking the rules and adding egg and, and stuff, it might end up being too wet. Okay, so we're just going to let this drain a little bit longer. So here we go with the pork again.
Okay.
So if you can add that in, you'll be our mixer once more. So similar kind of seasonings. We have our sesame oil and the salt again.
Okay.
So let's start with our salt. And again, that looks like if you're using table salt, use about half as much as I did. That was about a teaspoon's worth. Yeah. The granules on the kosher salt, you guys are going to learn this in science as you get older, but the granules there, the crystals are really big and really open and lots of air on the inside. So they take up more space than regular table salt. So you can use about twice as much. And I think there's a little bit more room for error with that, which is what I really like
good.
about that. So it's hard to put too much kosher salt.
Okay, that's a
Yeah,
good thing.
it's
to
very
know.
easy to put too much table salt. Okay, that, our sesame oil, and that's about a teaspoon's worth too. Now we have our egg. So some people like to break the egg on the edge. Some people like to break it on the table. I watch these videos of this guy cracks it on his head. I think that's funny, but maybe not. So
I dare you.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody wants to eat my sweat, so I'm gonna crack it on the side of the bowl. You want to try to do it in one pretty good one, but not really go for it because you're gonna get egg everywhere. So hopefully you have an extra one. Oh,
There you
so
go.
got some good egg. So I'm gonna put thumbs in and always on the top. If I go down, some of these shards might fall in the bowl, which I don't like. So I go this way and really careful, and then
There's no shard.
no shards in there.
I always go the other way.
Oh, down?
And, yeah,
like
and
that?
I have them in there.
When my mom used to work at the restaurant, this is Yum Yum Tree, that's how old I am.
I
Their
loved Yum Yum
baker
Tree.
used to be able to crack 2 eggs in each hand. He used to
Like
be
the-
able to 4 at the same
like
time. Yeah, I don't know how he did it, but 4 at a time because they were making donuts and pies and cakes and cookies and muffins in the morning, and there's just no time to go one at a time. So that's incredible. Egg, we're gonna put some panko. So again, like we said before, like the egg and breadcrumb mixture is pretty classic. You're gonna see that in a lot of different cultures.
How much
This is
that?
about, I would say it's about a 1/4 cup to a 1/3 cup. The egg and breadcrumb or breadcrumbs and milk, sometimes it just makes everything a little bit more moist. Like I don't get to tell the butcher how much fat I want in the meat, and the fat does bring moisture to it. So I think this is a good way to make up some of that.
Okay.
We are ready to mix. Oh, sorry. You can use black pepper or you can use white pepper. I'm gonna use black pepper because I kind of like that flavor.
Cool.
And I have a super fun pepper mill here. So that's about 6 or 7 scrunches
Okay, are we done?
of pepper. We are ready to go. So same direction, 30 times or until it looks streaky.
Gotta grab it and mix it and then go
Yeah, and
around.
then just, keep the hand in the same position and just, you're not twisting. You just like run your fingers like you're trying to do that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. That's not what I did with the other guys.
Yeah, you just gotta, I'm gonna take your hand. Like that, yeah, like that. You're trying to like, you're really trying
Break
to
up that fat.
pull it and make the strings.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've
Oh.
never seen anybody make gyoza doing the dot thing, so I think we won't do
shouldn't.
that. Yeah, we should not do that.
Okay, it's
There we go.
looking.
How's that?
Yep,
That looks great.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. It's funny how in just like a couple turns the whole thing can
Yeah, it looks
really
different.
turn out. Okay, that is a lot more pork. I'm gonna not use all this cabbage. I think I'm gonna use about half, maybe not even half. I think that's good.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, we forgot an important ingredient, and that's the garlic.
Oh,
So, oof, did I not? There's the garlic in there too?
no, I feel like I.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there it is.
Oh,
Oh boy.
good save.
Mr. Ogomori
Mr. Chin.
to the rescue again. So there
You
are,
know it's a Friday.
yes. So there are all different kinds of graters. I brought 2 different kinds. For garlic and ginger, this is my favorite. This is a Japanese grater. So it's made of ceramic. There's plastic ones too. And I just grate it in here, and then it is kind of nice because it's not a sharp blade, so I'm not worried I'm gonna, like the thing with
Grind your-
I'm gonna grind my fingertips off, and that's always one of the scary things. And then the bottom of this has little rubber feet, so it doesn't really move around too much.
Oh, that's cute.
So-
Is that from Japan?
This is, I bought this at Marukai.
Oh,
Yeah, so I just kind of go in a circle. You can kind of go in a line, whatever
do.
works for you, yeah. And
Ooh, but-
as I get closer, I
that's
will,
better than a garlic press.
Yeah, the garlic press, it gets too big, and I don't want to bite into big pieces of garlic in gyoza. Okay, so I'm gonna not use all of it. Like there's still a little nub, and I bought this little holder squeezy thing that holds it, but it's just really hard to use, so I just use my fingers. Okay, I'm gonna grab one more, and I'm gonna show you with a different kind of grater. So this is called a microplane. The blades all face this way, so it only cuts when I go down. So if I come back up, like I can run my fingers up this way and not worry about it, but it grates going down. So let's get these inside here. The only trouble with this is that getting it stuck inside. I have this, it's in my bag, but I have this tiny little, it looks like a little rake, and you use it to scrape out the thing. But I'm not worried about it. I'm just gonna use this other
I'm just gonna
grater.
get another one.
So we're gonna take this and just slide it here. And this is one of my
I don't see
favorite.
anything falling.
It's not gonna fall because it's all stuck on the back of this. But it makes it really, really, really fine. And
Be careful.
yep, I'm getting really, really close, and this is a lot sharper than the other one.
Okay,
So I'm gonna
that's
stop
yeah.
there. And then just to get it off, I just do that. And then the back of this is not sharp at all, so I can run my fingers on the back of the grater. That's fine. So
Okay.
there we go. Okay, can mix all that together. And let's wipe my hands. I'm gonna use this chopped cabbage for something else, so maybe I'll make some fried noodles or something later on. Or, I'll cook some corned beef and cabbage with this. I think that'll be delicious.
Ooh, this looks
Okay,
yummy.
and so just like the shrimp, we wanna make sure that it's all evenly mixed together. And then we don't have to worry about everybody getting enough pork and whatnot. This is kind of similar in some ways to, in China they have a dumpling like this. In Cantonese they call it wo tip. In English we call them pot stickers.
Oh.
In Mandarin, I'm going to butcher this, but it's Gyoza. And sometimes those are boiled, but I know Cantonese cooking, they're often fried, just like gyoza. So they're called different names, but they're
Smells good.
yeah. But those
the
have
garlic
yeah,
did
they
it.
have a little bit of yeah, they have a little bit of a different flavor. Sometimes they put chives inside in the Chinese ones. There's the Korean mandu,
I like the
which is
chive one.
delicious. They put noodles in those. Yeah, the Filipino lumpia often has a noodle inside too. You can put kimchi. You can put anything in there that you want, and we're gonna do some funky stuff. Okay, let's get some stuff out of the way, and we'll wrap. Yeah, why don't we put that down there? So open our gyoza wrappers. So these are round, and sometimes they're white. These are kind of yellowish. I think they're using the same dough. But usually the traditional Japanese ones are more white than this. But
Oh, I didn't know.
I wanted to make sure we supported our neighborhood noodle factory. So I wet it. You can wet it before or after. It doesn't really matter. Where did our knife go? We can use the same knife. It's totally fine. It's all just pork.
All pork.
So same thing. We want to fill not too much. And for my first time, I'm going to put a little bit less than I would like, just because I'm kind of worried that it might ooze out.
Okay.
So this one, simplest way is meat in the middle, and we're going to make this half moon shape, seal it all the way around, and we've got a half moon, and we're done. Yeah.
Oh,
This is not how you would see gyoza in restaurants and stuff like that. But if this is for home cooking, like this is a
That's
traditional
good,
mandu
yeah.
shape. This is, it's fine. It's going to taste the same regardless of whatever shape
I
you
want to
make.
taste it.
Yeah, so we can do that, and then I'm going to show you like super advanced dumplingy. Oh no, go ahead. Why
are
don't
you
you make a
gonna do-
half
are you
moon
gonna
one?
do
Yeah,
the,
we're going to do the pleats. Oops, wrong one.
The pleats are hard.
The pleats are very, very hard.
And if you don't do your pleats nicely,
It doesn't look yummy.
it doesn't look yummy.
It doesn't look
Still
yummy. It
tastes
still
yummy.
tastes good, but yeah, it's a little bit hard. It takes a little while to get used to it. So it's a good thing we have a big fat stack of these, because we're going to
Yeah,
get a lot of practice
yeah.
in. And again, you can freeze this mixture and always do more later. Sometimes I have leftover wrappers, and you know what I do with them?
Make chip.
Yeah, I deep fry them and I make chips. Or I'll cut it into strips, and then I'll dust it with cinnamon sugar. It's so yummy.
So yummy.
Okay. Are you ready to try to pleat?
No, I'm doing
No,
that.
you're
I'm
gonna do
doing
the
that.
half
I'm
moon?
watching.
Okay. So we're gonna put this together. There's kind of two ways that you can approach this. So I'm gonna show you the normal way.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna show you the backwards way that I do it. The normal way is we're gonna squeeze a little bit on the end, and then I'm gonna take this hand is gonna push over and make a pleat like that. And then I'm gonna repeat that step. Push over
Are you stretching
and
it?
pleat.
Are you stretching the?
Not really stretching it. And then you go over like this. You just
That would take a
keep trying to
long
folding over, and then you just squeeze the end. And I go back one more time to give it all a good squeeze. And then we've got that. You want
That
your
looks pretty.
gyoza to have a nice flat bottom.
Oh,
so
how'd you make it flat?
so when I put it in the pan, I just kind of like press it down and make sure it's sitting upright. Because when we cook it, we don't want them flopping over. We want them to all have those flat bottoms.
Yeah. And he did cook it, and they did have a flat bottom.
So there's no like special technique to it. It's just put it down in the pan.
Is that too
That looks like a little bit too much.
I like
think
a full.
I like it full too, but I'm always like really careful. If you put too much, it's gonna all ooze out, and you kind of gotta throw that one away, because it's gonna
oil thingy yucky, and make sure.
it's gonna make everything spatter, and it's gonna be kind of dangerous
Oh,
too.
look, I did. Okay, wait. I gotta undo.
That is definitely too much.
Okay, so
okay.
I'm going to
Okay.
pinch
Pinch the end, and then use your right hand,
and go over.
go over and press.
Okay, go over and press. Oh, so
And
fun, right?
I like to tuck it into the middle, make sure I don't have all these stray bits.
I know. I
There.
have some stray cabbage.
Yeah, I know. I'm not as good at this as other people. So fold over, press together, and then squeeze. So I'm aiming to get about 4 or 5 pleats. That's super nice.
Ain't it?
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
I find that the leaks tend to be on the end, so I always double check my ends. And sometimes when they freeze, they open up again. So
Mine's
I'm
looking
really
pretty
careful.
good.
Okay, I'm gonna show you my backwards way of doing it, and I'm faster at the backwards way, but I know the other one will probably make it nicer. So you should probably do it the other way, but I'm just gonna show you this. So I push in with this finger and squeeze here.
Oh, look, you're fast. Okay, wait. I didn't quite get that. Did you guys get that? It's a
You
backwards.
probably didn't.
Right.
And I don't know if I can do it slowly. That's the,
Okay, wait, like this. Wait, you go like this. Just pinch.
wait, I don't know if I can.
I know, you go this way. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm using this to push to the inside instead of going over. I'm pushing inside and then pressing. Push inside.
No, but mine is stuck down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, like that.
there we go. Oh,
It's probably the wrong way, and
It's
there's
the
probably a
wrong
lot
way.
of people watching the show like, "What are you doing, Mr. Chin? You don't even know what you're doing." But they come
whatever
out.
works.
They come out nice, and they taste good, and if it's yummy, then you did a
The
good
other
job.
is prettier.
Yeah, I think the other way is prettier, and if you're better at that, then you do that. Yeah. Here we go.
Does
Ooh, this one
anybody
has a
want to
lot of
try it?
starch.
Anybody want to try to pleat this?
No?
No?
So I will often do this for parties and stuff, and I'll just sit down in the living room in front of the TV, and I crank out like 50 of these, and it takes me like 20 minutes to fold them all. But I know like real dumpling makers, they probably do it in half the time. And they have machines. They have machines that do this, and they
They
can
have-
crank out like
Really?
yeah, they can crank out like 2,000 in an hour or
But
something
look,
like
it's
that.
kind of therapeutic.
It is.
Do you know what Mr. Chin does? He makes the meat, and then he has a party, and then he has his guests do it, and then it gets cooked there. I think that is if you have an outside setup, which I don't, that would be just the perfect way. Yeah, Mr. Chin?
Yeah, I think it's fun to have people participate, you know, in some of the
This is
party
kinda-
cooking.
The forward way is easier than the backwards way for me.
For you,
Yeah.
you know, and I
Because
think
I'm right-handed.
I am too, but you know, somehow my brain didn't tell me to do it that way, and because I don't want to change, maybe. That's not a good thing.
Could be.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stash these over there. So let's start talking about like other cool fillings, because there's a lot of people that do different stuff out there with these same wonton wrappers and all of that.
At
So-
New Year's, I do the crab one.
Okay, so this one is 1 block of cream cheese. It's half a pack of imitation crab, green onions, salt.
Okuhara imitation crab.
Yes, Okuhara. Yeah, those of you that know Mrs. Toria, that's her family.
Okuhara.
And local company in our neighborhood too. And it's so good, so fresh, and not frozen. So, yeah, half a pack of that, some green onion, white pepper, salt, and I put sesame oil in it. So we're gonna use the wonton for frying. So that's this one here. Oh, did I mix it up? Oh boy, I think we might have done the
Don't
wrong way.
matter.
Doesn't matter.
But I have
My grandmother is rolling over in her grave, but that's okay. So this one, if you've ever been to Panda Express, they make this there in this shape. I don't love this shape because I think it tends to leak and spatter and gets a little dangerous, but I'm gonna show you how to do it anyway. I like to make my different filling ones different shapes so that it's easy for everybody to tell what's in there and there's no Surprise!
Oh, this is a fat one.
Yeah, these are kind of fat.
Is that
yeah.
fat?
Yeah. So this one, we're gonna bring corners. Maybe you can practice without any filling.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna bring corners together like this. I'm just gonna seal the end. And the same thing on the other side. Corners together and seal. And then we're gonna bring these two and match them together like
Oh,
that.
like origami.
Yeah, kind of like a purse. And then we're gonna squeeze these together. And then right here at the tip, because that's where it
I
tends to
didn't
leak a lot. Then we've got this little
Panda Express
square over
bread.
there.
Ooh.
I'm gonna try it with the
Yeah, let's
thinner
do
one.
the skinny one.
Yeah,
I think it would taste.
I think they're right in getting the thinner one. The key to getting the cream cheese easy to mix is just let it sit on the counter for like
Oh yeah.
20 minutes. 20 minutes to half an hour. So while I'm like getting all my other stuff ready, I'm just letting, like, take out the cream cheese before everything
Are we
else.
doing an L?
I do it go all the way around.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, all the way around. So again, corner to corner, then the sideways. We're kind of folding it like a hot dog at first.
Okay.
So there's this big debate in the food world of is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes or no?
Wait. Is a hot dog a
A
sandwich?
sandwich. No?
No.
Oh.
It has bread.
It's folded in between two pieces of bread. I don't know. Okay.
Okay.
So
we
that's
happen to
that's
find-
my not favorite shape, but let's try something different. So we have Mrs. Ushiroto went down to the Korean market and she got us some tok. It's a Korean mochi. They use this shape in soups and stuff, and it's super yummy. It's already cooked, but it's still kind of hard, so I wouldn't eat it like this. So you gotta.
I have to try this one.
Then the inside will cook second. If the outside gets cooked and you keep going so that the inside gets cooked, your outside part's gonna come all mushy and fall apart. And I think that's not yummy. You still want the outside to be kind of a little bit chewy and have some bite. So in soup is delicious. I love it with a chili oil and shoyu and vinegar. I think that's
Me too.
super yummy. You can put some fresh ginger and green onions in there too. Okay, you see they're floating. So these guys are done. So I'm just gonna turn
Where we put
our
it?
water off, and we can put it on one of those plates. Let's do the chili oil thing.
Oh. Okay.
Put a little bit of this in there.
What else did you need?
Shoyu. Oh, I have the shoyu. That's the black vinegar. I know in Cantonese culture they use the red vinegar, but yeah, you see this in like northern China. So let's try this.
Should I take this out?
Black vinegar. Yeah, we can take those out.
Black vinegar.
Shoyu. Not too much. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of sesame oil because I like that smell.
Me too.
And so with the shrimp, you can tell they're cooked when you see that kind of bright pink orange color. And
Looks
Yeah.
delicious.
again, because they're so small, they're gonna cook up super fast.
Okay.
All right, these are gonna be like molten hot. So why don't we give it a break? Let them cool off just a little bit.
Ooh.
It's gonna be so yummy. Okay. All right, and then we're gonna switch and cook our gyoza now. So
Gyoza. Okay.
leave this on the side. And then gyoza, I'm gonna cook this on medium-high heat. Oh, sorry, to bring our water to the boil, it's always on a high heat.
Yeah.
And you can totally do your cooking after the show is done. Yeah. We did get cut off from the internet a little bit earlier today, so if you didn't catch what we were doing, we were making these. They're stuffed with a Korean mochi called tok, and these come in a disc form or there's a log form, look like little Lincoln logs. So we just put these inside, and we're planning to boil them, and we're gonna eat it with a little bite of kimchi. But yeah, we're talking about samjang. Sorry, I didn't
Right.
finish. So they use that in Korean barbecue as a dipping condiment.
What does it look like?
it's a red chili sauce, but it's got doenjang. I'm butchering that too because I don't speak Korean, but it's like a Korean miso kind of similar, very similar to miso.
So
yeah.
it's next to the oil and salt one, or is that miso?
It looks like the miso. So samjang, you kind of have to ask for it. They don't always bring it.
Okay.
But it's so yummy. You can make your own at home, but they sell it in the store already made in a squeeze bottle, which is super convenient if you only need a little bit. So I have this guy on medium-high heat, and sorry, this is not super safe for students to do, but I can kind of, with my hands over time, I've learned to tell what the temperature
Gauge.
is based on how long I can keep my hand over the fire before it feels hot to me. So I'm going to put some oil in the pan.
I like to put the oil in, and when it looks like that, I know it's hot.
Yeah, always put oil into a hot pan. Don't put oil into the cold pan. It does weird things to the oil when you start cold. And it comes hotter quicker when it's in the hot pan.
Okay.
Yeah, I only started doing that like 4 or 5 years ago, and I think it's been a big difference maker. Okay, let's get our gyoza in there.
Mr. Chin has a system.
Yeah, so we're gonna line them up like the hands of a clock so that they're in a circle, like this. So all the...
Do you hear it? It's pretty.
So they're gonna sizzle a little bit. We are gonna actually kind of steam them. So here's my cup of water again. So we're gonna add some water to this. I'm trying to, it depends on your wrapper. This one is a little bit thin, so it's not gonna take very long to cook. If you had a thicker, like traditional gyoza wrapper, or the even thicker Korean mandu wrapper, which we cooked earlier, those will take a little bit longer, so you add more water. So I'm gonna add like, just, if you were to stack like...
Pennies?
Yeah, if you were to stack pennies, maybe like 3 pennies worth is
Okay.
enough, I think, for this. So that's just enough to cover the bottom of the pan. I'll put my lid over that, and we're gonna let those go. There's a little bit of steam leaking out the side, and so I'm gonna listen. I'm letting my ears tell me, because if I open it up, all the steam's gonna come out, and then they're not cooking anymore. Oh yeah.
Is it good?
All right, Ms. Fujimoto, I think we're back online. Do we have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
A lot of compliments. A lot of
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your comments.
That you
So
guys
thank
are
you for watching,
Guys.
everybody. Oh, this is the winner. This is the caramel sauce on this.
No, this is just good like this. We need to make more for them.
Okay, we'll make more. Oh, chocolate is so hot.
Oh, you're really done. Marshmallow.
Oh, marshmallow, the mini marshmallows on the inside. Oh. And the chocolate, yeah.
Mr. Chin, you should challenge them.
Oh, yes. Okay, so we have a challenge for you. We want you to come up with your own combinations of fun fillings that are, oh, you're gonna make some more?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you come up with your own ideas for what you want to put inside a wonton. Try to make it and send us a picture of what you made. So in the description, there is a link to a Google form, and you can turn in your pictures, even if it's of just our regular wonton and gyoza and other things that we've done. You can totally turn those in to us, and we really want to see what you did and share it with our my community. So send those in, but if you've got creative ones, we're going to have a contest. I don't know what the prize is yet, but we're going to have a...
I thought you said it was going to be a market gift certificate.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, yeah, maybe we'll do something for a supermarket gift certificate, and you guys can go and do some more yummy cooking together as a family. But we'll have a contest for the most creative idea, and make sure you submit a picture with that, and then we'll decide before summer school ends, and we'll announce it and send it home with you. Oh, we might you might have to bring a sample. Yeah. Okay. Well, you did not come here to watch us stuff our faces, so we're going to thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to Mrs. Komashiro for helping to organize, and Ms. Fujimoto, to Mrs. Ushiroda, our guest host,
And PTSA.
and our PTSA for helping to support
And
Mr. Ogamori Mr. Fujimoto and Mr. Tamaye for helping to set all of this up. Please follow us on Instagram. It's at my elementary, and you get to see in our story today a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that we did to set up how this works. We're not in an actual kitchen. There's a green wall behind us, but people ask that all the time. But yeah, this is not a real kitchen. We're in room 33, and yeah.
And this Nutella banana,
Oh.
this would be a really good dessert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember to make your different ones shaped differently so you know which one is which when they're coming out. But yeah, have fun cooking and eating and getting creative. And I cannot wait to see what you folks do and share with us. So you have a great weekend. We'll see you folks next week in school or around town. All right,
Great.
you got anything else?
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Cook, cook, cook.
Hey, bye-bye.
Wait.
Oh,
Have a one ton of fun.
hey, bye-bye. Thank you.